Hey guys, Lucas Green here, as I'm here to do Adam Fern's video for his birthday present, which he requested. That's kind of the deal we usually do. Each year we do a birthday video for one another, and whatever that request is, and do it to our best of our abilities. But yeah, so he requested the top 20 Pokemon of my choice. Now, this is probably most of these may come down to different reasons. Some likability, some due to how they look or how they do in the anime or the games, but let's just get this on with. He did request no legendaries, and there might be one exception kinda to that rule, but I'll get to that when I get to it. But let's start off with number 20, and that is
Herdier, the loyal dog Pokemon, and the evolved form of Lillipup. Always obedient and faithful to their trainers, Herdier have helped them raise other Pokemon since long ago.
Herida. Yes, Herida. Herida is the second evolution line of the Lillipup one. He's on the list for sentimentality because when I grew up, we had a Yorkshire Terrier and it was my dad's, and we grew up with that Yorkshire Terrier for like nearly 20 years. Well, we were up to our 20s, but he lasted for 17 years, which is longer than a Yorkshire Terrier should live. And he was close to the family's heart, so for sentimentality, Herida is on the list for that. Moving on, at number 19 is
Ditto, the transform Pokemon. Ditto has the ability to reconstruct its entire cellular structure into whatever it sees.
Ditto, the shape-shifting Pokemon. So it's understandable why this Pokemon's on the list. It's a Pokemon that can transform into any other Pokemon, and from what we learned in the Detective Pikachu movie, it can also transform into people too. So that's pretty OP, so I had to mention that on the list for its potential of what it can do. At number 18...
Talonflame, the Scorching Pokemon, and the evolved form of Fletchinder. During an intense battle, Talonflame expels embers from gaps between its feathers. It reaches speeds of more than 300 miles per hour.
We have Talonflame. Of course, a good Pokemon that is very useful in online battling, and that's why I put that one on the list. And also it's a nice reference to the Epos the Flame Bird from Beast Quest. And from what I've heard, it's also good in Ash's team in the X and Y anime. But moving on, number 17.
Umbreon, the Moonlight Pokemon, and an evolved form of Eevee. The rings of Umbreon's body glow faintly when exposed to the moon's aura, and it gains a mysterious power.
Is Umbreon, my favorite Eevee evolution, and that's I want to give it a spot on the list, and this is where it came to. It's got a cool design. It's paired up with one of the better rivals of the series, and that is Gary. So I think it does pretty well for it is. And there's a lot of fan art of Umbreon, and I think the shiny version has a good design too. Moving on, we're at number 16 now.
But all of that is about to end.
And that is Zoroark. Now, some people claim Zoroark is a legendary, some do not. The reason why, because of the movie. Reason why not, because it's not a legendary in the games. It's a common Pokemon. But it varies. But Zoroark's on this list for his ability that he can copy bear in mind, it does confuse me. I believe his ability is imposter. He can impersonate a Pokemon, but when he's attacked, he's revealed who he is. But yeah, his shape-shifting powers are pretty useful in both the anime and the game. But if we're not counting Zoroark, and if you want to count as a legendary, the other alternative I put on the list was
Aegislash, the Royal Sword Pokemon, a Steel and Ghost type. Aegislash has two forms, one offensive and one defensive, that it uses in battle. Its Ghost-type powers can also control the movements of people and Pokemon.
Aegislash, a Pokemon that can change its mode, pretty useful, both in the anime and the game, so I put that there for number 16. Moving on, at number 15 we have
Blaziken, the Blaze Pokemon. Blaziken leaves its opponents charred with its fiery punches.
Blaziken, overpowered speed boost ability. And I've learned from getting my butt kicked by it so many times in the online battling. So, from personal experience and some of the anime, Blaziken had to be on the list. Next up is number 14.
Sceptile, the Forest Pokemon, and the evolved form of Grovyle. The seeds growing on Sceptile's back are brimming with vitamins that can revitalize trees.
Here goes!
Sceptile. Had great moments in both the anime and the games. And it also gained a Mega Evolution like Blaziken before it. But yeah. This thing beat a Darkrai, so Nemo said, while it's probably... I think Blaziken is probably the best out of the Hoenn starters. I still think Sceptile is overall a better Pokemon overall compared to Blaziken. Even though I prefer Blaziken, I think Sceptile's done more in the Pokemon franchise than Blaziken has, and that's why I put Sceptile above it. Moving on at number 13.
Alakazam's brain continually grows, making its head far too heavy to support with its neck. This Pokemon holds its head up using its psychokinetic power instead. This amazing brain gives this Pokemon an astoundingly high IQ of 5,000. It has a thorough memory of everything that has occurred in the world.
Alakazam. Powerful psychic type, able to hold its own in online battling. It's got a Mega Evolution, and it's very iconic, being on the Gen 1's rival team for a good long time. At number 12, we have...
Gengar, the Shadow Pokemon, a ghost and poison type. Gengar can pass through dimensions and appear almost anywhere. Since Gengar absorbs any warmth around it, the temperature suddenly drops wherever it appears.
Gengar, popular Pokemon who has become a meme in the fan-base community, so I had to throw Gengar on there. It's so iconic. It's been in most generations, and I think the current generation too, with the Journey stuff. So I had to put Gengar on there. And that iconic smile. Moving on, we have number 11.
Pangoro, the daunting Pokemon, and the evolved form of Pancham. Pangoro has an ornery personality. It holds a bamboo sprig in its mouth, which allows Pangoro to detect surrounding movements.
Pangoro. This is the first Pokemon I got level 100 on my Sun and Moon run. So there's that nostalgia there. And of course, Kung Fu Panda references are always a win. And I wonder if that was intentional, because he's also known as a fighting Pokemon, I believe. I believe he's a fighting dark type. I could be wrong. I'm sure someone's going to correct me. But yeah, Pangoro is on the list. Moving on, we're at the top 10. And up number 10 is...
Greninja, the ninja Pokemon, and the final evolved form of Froakie. Greninja can compress water into sharp-edged throwing stars. With the grace of a ninja, it slips in and out of sight to attack from the shadows.
Greninja. Now, I know Adams loves Greninja more than me, and I can see why. But for me, I never had the chance to watch the anime. But from what I've heard, he's really OP in the anime. And I think he and his Froakie, some argue that he has a better relationship with Greninja than he does Pikachu. I don't know if I'll go that far, but it is what it is. And the shiny version is also coping up a nice black ninja look to it. A lot of great moments in the games and the anime make Greninja, of course, going to be on this list regardless, so no surprise there. And number 9 is...
Volcarona, the sun Pokemon, a bug and fire type. Volcarona emerged from a flaming cocoon. It scatters burning scales from its 6 wings, bathing the area in a sea of fire.
This is Volcarona, my fastest Pokemon on my games when it comes to, so it had to be on this list. It gave my friend Adam a bit of trouble to take it down, but I was surprised how well it did. So, gotta put Volcarona on the list. At number 8, we have...
Stand by for battle!
Nidoking, the drill Pokemon. One swing of its mighty tail can snap a telephone pole as if it were nothing but a matchstick.
Nidoking. Popular killing machine. Probably the original killing machine of Pokemon, I would say. Where you have this powerhouse Pokemon that's able to take so much. And also the fact that it can do so many different moves helps. Because it can do like Fire Blast, I think, and all types of different moves from different types of Pokemon. So I think it's pretty cool. So I had to put Nidoking there for that. And there's also Nidoqueen, but I think Nidoking has more love. And of course he's on a lot of rival Pokemon's team as well. Moving on to number 7.
Lucario, the Aura Pokemon, a fighting and steel type. Lucario uses a power called Aura, which allows it to sense human feelings.
Lucario had to be on the list. So iconic, so OP, has great moments in the movie and in the anime from Veilstone Gym, I believe. I could be wrong with that. And eventually Ash himself got one. And of course, as a nice little tidbit, part of Lucario's name is also part of mine, Lucas, so it was that little touch too. Moving on at number 6.
Stand by for battle!
Electivire, the Thunderbolt Pokemon, and the evolved form of Electabuzz. When Electivire attacks, it pushes the tips of its two tails against its opponent.
Electivire, powerful Pokemon in the anime and games, and he's also on my home team. Gave myself a lot of fun battling, and I was really able to pull through with that. So Electivire is on the list. Number 5.
Drapion, the Ogre Score Pokemon, and the evolved form of Skorupi. With its sturdy body, Drapion takes pride in its strength, defeating opponents without the need for poison.
Drapion, effective in the anime and useful field move. It's a useful field move where he uses toxic spikes, of course, and it was very, very powerful. And I mean, a lot of people give Electivire credit for that final battle with Paul in Sinnoh, and I know Paul's come back in the Journey stuff, but I do question that kind of a bit, and I'll get to that another day probably. But I think Drapion is the main reason that Paul mainly nearly won the battle, because it took out so many of, like, half of Ash's team. So Drapion was like Paul's ultimate killing machine there. So I've got to put Drapion on the list. And now we're at the top 4. Number 4 is...
Teddiursa's Gold Pokedex entry states, if it finds honey, its crescent mark glows. It always licks its paws because they are soaked with honey. I guess you could say that Teddiursa always has a snack on hand.
Teddiursa. Yep. Teddiursa, no surprise why this one's on the list for some people. But yeah, sentimentality reasons, once again. I had a connection with... We all have had a teddy bear once in a while, and there's that for you. And I had my teddy bear too. And also done a lot of bear stuff when it comes to teddy bears in my Linksy series, so there's that for as well. So for sentimentality reasons, I had to put Teddiursa on the list, and of course it's done well in the animes, and of course it's cute. There's always one Pokemon that is considered cute to a lot of people, and there's that one for me. Moving on, we're moving on to number 3.
Salamence, the dragon Pokemon. Constant dreams of flight caused a shift in its cellular structure. When it evolved, Salamence finally grew wings.
Salamence, my flying killing machine. It's just a non-stop weapon of destruction, able to eliminate so many Pokemon on online battles, and it's lived up to its name. Also, my favourite Pokemon villain wields one too with Pokemon Hunter J, and that's badass. So there's that. And we're down to the top 2 now. So, at number 2 we have... Charizard. Yeah. Charizard is at number 2. So, I am not really... There's not really much to say about this, because there's no surprise Charizard at number 2. He's an iconic Pokemon. Arguably, him and, I would say, like, the most popular Pokemon are, as right now I'm thinking, Lucario, Greninja, Charizard, and that's probably... All those big boys are up there. But yeah, so... He's great. I love Charizard for what he is. He's so iconic in the movies and in the anime. Well, the anime, the games as well. He's a lot of people's first choice because Red. He's been only partnered with Charmander. I chose another Pokemon, and that one is pretty. I'm sure Adam at this point. Oh yeah, because once you've chosen one, Adam will know what. Once I've chosen 2, Adam knows what number 1 is. So is what it is there. But Charizard, great Pokemon. I love his Brawl Cry, love him in the movies, how he came in on Pokemon Movie 3, how he came back in the black and white anime, and how him and Ash had a development to get from where they started to where they began. Because originally, when he was a Charmander, he was loyal until he became a Charmeleon, where he was like disloyal for some reason. I'm not sure why. I'm sure people give reasons why in their own theories, but it took until that one episode when him and Charizard were on like an island, and they had to work together to sort their differences aside. And from then on forth, Charizard respected Ash once again, and it has helped him in so many times. So there's that for you. And of course, at number 1, to Adam's no surprise, I'm sure, is Blastoise. Yep, Blastoise. My first ever Pokemon. For a lot of people, they would choose Charmander, but I chose Blastoise because everyone chose Charmander all the time when I was around. I'm like, come on, give Blastoise some love. So I chose the water Pokemon, and his moments with me going through Red and Blue, or Red, Pokemon Red, obviously Fire Red, very iconic. He's also been compared to Bowser, like the water version of Bowser, but I think his intimidating size makes him for a tough Pokemon to beat. And he also won the Death Battle, spoiler alert. So there's that for you. So I'm actually proud of choosing Blastoise. While Charizard is iconic, I think Blastoise holds a special place in my heart as my number 1 Pokemon. I haven't seen Gens 8 and 9, so that's why none of those Pokemon are on this list. But regardless, I hope that, Adam, you enjoy this video for what it was. So hopefully that comes out well. And I hope you have a happy birthday and however you decide to spend it. Thank you for watching, guys, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.
Gotta catch 'em all.